This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, here we are. It is free agency. We got about 25 minutes to go before free agency begins. But ladies and gentlemen, according to Shams, the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson have already agreed on a deal. All right, already agreed on a deal. According to Shams, this is what he had to say about the New York Knicks. He said free agent Jalen Brunson intends to sign a 4-year, this is 33 minutes ago, a 4-year, $110 million deal with the New York Knicks in free agency. This is what sources are telling Shams. The Mavericks never received a chance to make an offer. So, ladies and gentlemen, this sounds like, it was a done deal. It was a done deal right from the start, it seems like, ladies and gentlemen, that he intended on signing with the New York Knicks. 4 years, $110 million. And, I don't know, what does that come out to be? $27 million a year or something like that? Of course, it's not going to be a straight $27 million. We'll see the way that the offer ends, the deal ends up being structured. It could be ascending. It could be descending. We'll see the way that it's structured. But now, what do the Knicks do next? That's going to be the question. And how does this work out? Because although the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson seem to have come to an agreement on a deal, it doesn't mean that it's automatically going to eat up the Knicks cap space, right? There's the possibility of signing trades. The Knicks could complete a sign-and trade with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, let's remember that the Dallas Mavericks are way over the cap. Way over the cap already. Okay? So if he's already over the cap, if they're already over the cap, they may not want to complete a sign-and trade with the New York Knicks. Because then the players that they get back takes them way over the cap once more. So they may be content with letting Jalen Brunson just walk and then figuring out what they're going to do next. With the news coming down about Kevin Durant, they might be angling to try to make a move for Kevin Durant. The Dallas Mavericks, right? Putting together Luka and Kevin Durant, which means they can't make they can't do a sign and trade right now, right? They've got to try to figure out a way to show Kevin Durant that we can pay you, or to show the Brooklyn Nets that we can make them an offer. Not pay Kevin Durant. They're going to have to pay him. You know that. But that they can make the Brooklyn Nets an offer for Kevin Durant. An enticing offer. There's going to be a lot of bids out there. A lot of bids out there for Kevin Durant, ladies and gentlemen. So with that news, it could be that a sign and trade offer is really off the table. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the Dallas Mavericks are really interested in trying to get Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. Right? Because when you look at what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets, it's not out of the way to think that Kyrie Irving is the next chip to fall. And if I was the Brooklyn Nets, once Kevin Durant decides, hey, I'm out of here, I'm gone, I'd break the entire thing down, start over from scratch. Start over from scratch. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Depending on how this contract works out with Jalen Brunson, you know, is it a sign and trade? I don't know. You know, I'm just speculating right now, obviously. But is it a sign and trade? I don't know. If not, then it's going to eat right into their cap space. So if the Knicks had $33 million of cap space and they're paying Jalen Brunson, you know, maybe 25 the first year, and then that thing ascends throughout the years, then you're talking about $8 to $9 million that the Knicks have left over. Now, they can waive Taj Gibson, create another $5 million, and they can waive Archdiakono, get up another $4 million. So if they do so, maybe they have somewhere between $14 and $18 million left. All right, to make some moves in free agency. I'll say this. They've been smart. And I know I was scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I was, you know, once the draft took place, I was a little bit nervous about what might go on or what are they going to do. You know what I'm saying? But they made some very smart moves, I think, in order to get off of the contracts of Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel. Of course, you know, with Kemba Walker, we know what happened on draft day. So they made some good moves to get off of those veteran players without taking back any salary, and they still got all kinds of draft capital left. Can't argue about that. I've seen people out there say that, well, you know, they had to give up second-round picks just to get off of these contracts and this and that. Man, the Knicks have so many second-round picks, it's crazy. And that's the exact reason why you collect those second-round picks, so that you can use them to get off of those kind of contracts, and it wasn't too hard to get off of those contracts. If you got off of those contracts with second-round picks that weren't even your second-round picks, I think you did a pretty good job. Right? And they did. They did a pretty good job. Now, it's about what they do next, ladies and gentlemen, how they move next, and how they continue to build this team. Because if what Shams says is true, which I do not doubt, if what he says is true and he's good, Jalen Brunson is going to sign with the Knicks for a 4-year, $110 million deal, the Knicks are not a complete product. He's a piece, a good piece. As a matter of fact, a very good piece in my opinion. And look, the whole thing went on with DeJounte Murray, and there were people who were disappointed that the Knicks didn't get DeJounte Murray and thought that maybe the Knicks could offer more. And I did agree that DeJounte Murray, I thought, was a very nice piece for the New York Knicks. I didn't know how it would have looked with Jalen Brunson and DeJounte Murray. I want either or. I did think DeJounte Murray probably fit better. Basketball-wise, chemistry-wise, maybe it's Jalen Brunson. All right? But anyway, whichever way it is, DeJounte Murray's out the window. He's not coming to the New York Knicks. Okay? But the addition of Jalen Brunson, last offseason, I wanted the Knicks to get Kyle Lowry because I thought that Kyle Lowry fit this team perfectly and was exactly what the Knicks needed. He's tough, can shoot the basketball. He understands how to control the floor. You know, he understands how to, execute what the coach is asking them to execute. Kyle Lowry does these things. Jalen Brunson, to me, is like Kyle Lowry. Very, very similar in their style of play, except he's 25 years old. So, yes, I do feel like that Jalen Brunson fits this New York Knicks team very well. Now it's about, there's still some things you got to figure out as far as, the lineup is concerned and, the glut that you might have there. Right? We on on the bench, you still got Emmanuel Quickly. You got Derrick Rose, Cam Reddish, Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, and for right now, Jericho Sims. And I'm assuming that Mitchell Robinson, for all intents and purposes, it seems like Mitchell Robinson is going to be re-signed by the New York Knicks. There's still a little bit of a glut on that bench. You got to figure out, are you keeping Derrick Rose around? And, I mean, if Derrick Rose is healthy and Jalen Brunson is your starting point guard, and then you got a guard like Derrick Rose coming off the bench, that's strong for you. But then now what happens with Cam Reddish? Between Cam Reddish and Quentin Grimes, you got to figure out who's going to get that playing time, who's going to get the burn, right? And I'm sure those will be some things that get worked out in training camp. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's playing the best, they'll be out there on the floor, but it's still going to be, there's still a little bit of a glut there. And we'll see if the Knicks make any other moves. We got about 15 minutes before training camp officially begins. Before training camp officially begins. Now, I wonder if there'd be any kind of, I don't know, what do you want to say, tampering charges brought up against the Knicks or tampering accusations, 30 minutes, 40 minutes before training camp. I mean, not training camp. Free agency even opens, and it's already reported that he's going to sign with the Knicks. It seems similar to last year when Lonzo Ball, everybody knew that Lonzo Ball was going to sign with the Chicago Bulls, right? And then, of course, you got everything else with the New York Knicks as far as, signing his dad and the relationship with Leon Rose and the relationship with Tom Thibodeau and all that kind of stuff. I don't care, to be honest with you. I don't. If it happens to be that the New York Knicks get tampering charges, they just get the tampering charges. I really don't care. Get the tampering charges. We have enough second-round picks to waste on tampering charges, if that's what you got to say. All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Now, my next question is this. Given the news with Kevin Durant, and I'm looking in the chat. I'm going to be looking in the chat to see what you guys think about this. Do you think the Knicks should go after Kevin Durant? I'm going to be honest with you. I would go after Kevin Durant. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm all about winning basketball games, and I'm all about trying to compete for a championship. And I know people are probably saying, no, I see it in the chat now. No, absolutely not. People saying don't go after Kevin Durant. I disagree. I would go after Kevin Durant. It's Kevin Durant. I know people are looking at what happened in Brooklyn and saying, nah, did you see what just happened in Brooklyn and this and that and the third? I would go after Kevin Durant. It's Kevin Durant, man. You're not going to find that type of player anyplace else. There's no doubt. You're not going to find that player anyplace else. I would definitely go after Kevin Durant. I see tomatoes in the chat and all that kind of stuff. I get it. I understand. You just don't get that talent. You just don't get a guy that can score like that anywhere. Change franchise around in the blink of an eye. And I know he's 34 years old. I get that. I understand. But I'd go after him. I would go after him. And I hate to say it. No, Jason, I'm not just trying to rile anybody up. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago when it came out that Kyrie Irving could be traded from Brooklyn, I was on the show and I said, nope. I would not trade for Kyrie Irving, But if Kyrie Irving is gone, that means Kevin Durant could possibly leave, and I would definitely inquire about Kevin Durant. I said it right off top, and I'm saying it again. I would. And I hate to put it like this, but anybody would be on the table. Anybody would be on the table. Any one of our players would be on the table. So I would. Now, and maybe it would be I'd have to take that chance. I would have to take that chance. This is going to go on for days. Probably with Kevin Durant. There's going to be a lot of teams that put their 2 cents in and try to make a move for Kevin Durant. I think right now Dallas is one of those teams. The Phoenix Suns are one of those teams. The Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm sure just about everybody has called to inquire about KD. They've called to inquire about KD, but I would put everybody on the table. Like it or not, I'm sorry, but I would. Every single last one of our players. Obviously, you couldn't put Jalen Brunson on the table because once that deal is complete, you signed, you have a certain amount of time before you can trade them. They'd be on the table, though. Everybody from R.J. Barrett to Jericho Sims. And I probably just said some bad words right there. But everybody from R.J. Barrett to Jericho Sims would be on the table, ladies and gentlemen. And, I do want to say this. My phone line is still not up, but what I'm going to do, give you some people a chance to, jump in the video chat. Give you a chance to jump in the video chat. That's how we can get some calls in. Just be mindful to watch your language. Try to have a picture up, either yourself on the video screen or a picture up, because I really want to make sure that I hear your voice about what's going on. So far, obviously, free agency isn't official until 6 o'clock. It's 5:51. So I want to hear from you. All right, so I just put the link in the chat, and you can click on that link. I'll see you jump in. And, I'll get you up here so that you can tell me what you think. You probably think I'm crazy for saying that I would go after KD, but that's cool. I can deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I can deal with that. And make sure I see Spree is jumping in right now. Spree, I'm going to get you on. All right? And, Spree, what's going on with you, brother, man? How you feeling? I'm doing good. There you go. What's going on, Spree? How you feeling?
I like Jalen Brunson. It's a start.
Right?
You got to start somewhere, right?
You got to start somewhere. And
people are sleeping on. Like, my issue is, like, if any other team gave Jalen Brunson that contract off the playoffs he had, they would say, "Oh, really nice signing for a team." But, like, it's us, so, like, they gotta hate.
That's gonna happen. You already know that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think is next?
I mean, I think we're gonna still try to offload some guys. See if what's up, Isaiah. I still think we got to find a way to maybe free up a little more salary. I don't know who, but like, I don't think we need to overreact. Obviously, this Kevin Durant thing, the whole league's going to wait to see how that plays out. So you probably won't see as much activity as you thought. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't want the Knicks to overreact and do something crazy unless there's something they know, they have something that they've been hiding from the whole league. I don't necessarily know if this is the time to strike. Maybe they wait and see what this looks like with Jalen. But to me, your Kyle Lowry thing is so spot on. We talked about this all off season last year, what this team needed to function with all the pieces to be a better team. Jalen Brunson ain't a splashy superstar, but he's like the exact type of piece that I feel like can make this team function, at least, so we can see what this looks like.
Right. And you know, I think he's a really, really good fit for this team. and the way that he plays, the style that he brings, he's tough. He's tough, and that's what I think Tom Thibodeau wants. And I think he's going to understand what Tom Thibodeau is asking from him on the floor. He's going to have the basketball in his hands. People want the ball out of Julius Randle's hands. It's going to be out of his hands. He's going to have the ball in his hands. So yeah, I think it's a good move. What do you think about the price point? How do you feel about the price point?
I mean, you got to pay for players. Like, my whole thing, he's the 14th highest paid point guard when you look at like that salary. So like, my whole thing is Jalen Brunson the 14th best point guard in the league? I think he's around there. I know he hasn't done it. He's been with Luka the whole time, but like, it's all relative, right? Like, it's just like Jalen Brunson is a nice point guard. Like, you're gonna have to pay money. You're not gonna get him on the cheap. As much as he wanted to play for the Knicks, his dad played here. You have to pay what the market presents. Do I think $27.5 million is a fair price for him? Yeah, probably. He's the 14th highest paid point guard. That's probably where he is.
Yeah,
around there.
Yeah, I hear you. Spree, I got a lot of people jumping in, so I'm gonna try to get. I'm gonna try to get the people. All right, and then so I'm gonna take you out to the green room. Then I'll get some people in, and I can get you back in a little bit later on too. All right.
No problem.
I appreciate you, my man. And let me see who I'm gonna bring in here. I'm gonna bring in Poppy Entertainment. Poppy, what's going on? What's going on with you, man? Glad you're jumping in. I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes. Let me know what you're thinking.
I'm thinking, man, I'm happy and excited about Jalen Brunson. I'm one of those that's really excited about him joining the team. I think he's going to be a good addition. We just needed a point guard. That's all. And then hopefully we can add something with it. I just have a question as hypothetical trades for KD.
Okay.
What hypothetical trade you think they would accept from us if we were to do something like that?
Oh, man, I'm going to tell you the truth. First of all, I don't think that they would trade with us.
That's true.
Right? I think that it's like, and I'm going to unmute you in a second. There's just a little bit of feedback coming back. I think that the last thing that they want is for everything that happened everything that transpired to happen. And then KD comes to the Knicks and it's successful and the Knicks win. That's the last thing that Brooklyn wants to take the chance to happen. So I don't think that they would trade with the Knicks. But if I'm the Knicks, I'm trying. I'm going to send an offer. They didn't want to give up. The Knicks didn't want to give up unprotected picks for DeJounte Murray. Right? But this is KD. It's two different animals. Completely different players. You give up those unprotected picks. You got a slew of picks. You give up some unprotected picks. You give up some second-round picks, and you probably got to give up a young player too. Is it going to happen? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I say, man, if we give them 5 picks, 5 first-rounders, and let's say Quickly and Obi, how can they say no?
Because there might be some better offers out there. It's gonna be,
2 young guys and 5 first-rounders, like, we could give them 4 almost 2023 first-rounders next year. They could get better.
I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I think they might be still trying to make the playoffs for real. I think they may be trying to use KD and Kyrie to really bring back a strong team to help them make the playoffs. You know what I mean? But hey, Poppy, I appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna try to get to some other people and see what their thoughts are, man. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining in.
And the NBA don't stop, man. It don't stop, can't stop, will never stop. This is why it's the most exciting league and pretty much all North American sports. The most exciting league. First thought, Sim, we got free tickets, baby. I'm hitting up my cousin Jalen Brunson. We getting the tickets. Me and you, we good. Floor seats, we good, Sim. I already text them. I said, "What up, cuz?" We getting the tickets, Sim.
Right.
We all good. Now I'm really
obviously I don't believe that, but go ahead.
I mean, I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna find a way to get his number. I'm gonna find a way.
It's his cousin, but he's got to find a way to get his number. But anyway, tell me your thoughts, man. Tell me your thoughts, because we got some people that's trying to get in here and get in.
I'm gonna make it quick because I gotta leave work. But I'm really excited, Sam, because I feel like this guy is what we need. This whole time throughout the whole discussion with Jalen Brunson, people were like, "Hey, just about the money, about the." I'm like, dude, this guy was the second option on the Western Conference Final team. He's proven. There's not a small sample size. It's not like one of those where he played 3 games without Luka and he did this. He played 20+ games without Luka and numbers improved while still shooting efficient. Also on the playoffs and the biggest stage that we ask our players to play, where they most times they're supposed to get paid based on the playoffs, he produced even better. He averaged like 23 points during the whole playoff series.
21.9 playoffs.
22 points.
Yeah.
He averaged 22 points as the second option on a Western Conference Final team.
Yeah. So let me jump in here just real quick before we go on with that. Free agency is now open. All right. So some of the first things we got, according to Shams, the Phoenix Suns and Devin Booker are finalizing a 4-year, $214 million Supermax contract extension. Okay. Malik Monk is finalizing a deal with the Sacramento Kings. DeAndre Jordan has agreed to a deal with the Denver Nuggets. All right, those are just some early things coming in. Obviously, we know about Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. All right, and I'll be jumping in as we go on to just let you know what's happening. But go ahead.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying, Sim. Man, I'm excited about this kid, man. I feel like he's perfect for what the Knicks want. He's tough. He's gritty. He grinds. He works. He puts his head down. I'm going to correlate this with the Nets, right? They got the bigger names. They got the names. What did they do? Sometimes getting the names, Sim, and I know people care about the names of these players because the names do carry some weight. But man, this kid's 25 years old, Sim. He's worked. He has a second-round pick mentality, but he's giving you first-round talent. He hasn't been disappointing.
Yeah.
Again, he was a second option on a Western Conference. I'm going to keep saying that because it's true. And his numbers, he was one of the only players on that team honestly, he was the only player on that team other than Luka to get his own shot. Nobody else that couldn't do it. And again, when Luka wasn't there against, and yes, I know people have used that excuse for him about the Utah Jazz not having strong perimeter players.
Mm-hmm.
We get it. And yes, that's true. They don't. But guess what he was going in the paint against him? The best shot blocker in the league. And still getting his.
I hear you.
So,
I hear you.
I'm not really worried about the money because look, if the Knicks do good, Jalen Brunson produces good, no one's going to talk about the 105 or 110 that he got.
110.
No one's going to. I thought it was 105. They said some people say it's 105.
Sham said it's 110.
Okay, even if it's 110, I'm perfectly fine with that because at the end of the day, he's going to bring what we need. To me, he's going to unlock R.J. Barrett. He's going to possibly unlock Randall if he's going to still be here.
Right.
These guys, listen, this is RJ's first time, Sam.
Well, you're getting a little, long-winded. So let's get to the point so we can get to some other people over here. You get
all right. The point is, Jalen Brunson's good. He's gonna elevate this team, and me and you gonna get some floor seats because I'm his long-lost cousin. Technically, I really am his cousin, but we gonna get them tickets, baby. We gonna get them tickets.
All right. Well,
hey, Sam,
we'll keep you updated on that.
Hey, when I get those tickets, listen. It's gonna be me 2-on-2. You can pick who you got. I got him. We're going to go on the court. How about that?
Anthony Simons has agreed to a 4-year, $100 million contract extension with the Portland Trail Blazers. The Knicks got Hartenstein, that backup, shooting center. We've all been looking for a shooting center for the New York Knicks. Real quick, before I let you go, tell me what you think about that.
Wait, did the Knicks sign the kid?
I'm looking for it now. I know that they were going, he was one of their main objectives coming in the free agency.
I hope we do get him. I like him. He's a stretch 5. I think it's perfect for us.
Yeah.
Also, too,
free agent center, according to Shams, free agent center Isaiah Hartenstein has agreed to a 2-year, $16 million deal with the New York Knicks.
Hey, I
Fully
like that.
guaranteed. Fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed.
I like that. $8 million. Also, too, Sim, by the way, Joker just got a $264 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jaren Jackson Jr. is out for 4 to 6 months. And then Bradley Beal has agreed to a 5-year, $251 million maximum contract extension.
Yeah. Yep. Bobby
Free
Portis.
agency is going on.
Bobby Portis has agreed to a 4-year, $49 million deal to return to the Milwaukee Bucks. He opted out. People, there was a rumor out there that the Golden State Warriors were going to try to pick him up, but no, he's staying with the Milwaukee Bucks. Malik Monk signed a 2-year, $19 million deal to join the Kings. P.J. Tucker is finalizing a 3-year, $33 million deal, guaranteed deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Victor Oladipo has agreed to a 1-year, $11 million deal with the Miami Heat.
Brunson, to me, is the guy we need. Regardless of what other people want to say, what other point guard is out there on the market that we can get right now, realistically? He's a free agent, one. We can do a sign and trade if we want to keep flex cap flexibility, and I think that would be in Dallas's best interest to do a sign and trade. Even though they say they weren't going to do it, but obviously, that's if they can get something back, they're going to want that. They're going to want to do that. To me, he would be the best point guard we've had in a long while, regardless of what. He's young. He's somebody we can build around. He doesn't have to come here and try to be number one. He just need to come here and fit in the system, and just run the point. That's all we need him to do.
Right.
We have RJ. He's up and coming. I just don't get where everybody's harping on the money. It's not coming out your pocket. The salary cap is still going up every year. Mm-hmm. So players are going to command a large lump sum regardless of which way you think about it. We're going to have to throw the money to somebody.
Right. Nah, I agree with you. And not to mention, CP the artist said something really, really good the other day that I think makes a lot of sense. He said, if someone wanted him to move back to Atlanta, to move from Atlanta to New York, right? He's from New York, but, back to New York from Atlanta, he would need a significant raise, right? Because he would need a significant raise because the cost of living is so much more.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's not out of the question to say, yeah, we're going to give him a little bit more because this is your cost of living for, being in New York City.
And then you also got to think about it. There is no state taxes in Dallas. So New York is going to have to pay him more just to, you get what I'm saying? So to me, it baffles me why people always want to harp on this. Oh, if we do this, Leon Rose this, Leon Rose that. Regardless of what, man, we've been in a losing culture for a while now. As long as I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, we just gotta rock with it. Because overall, we don't know how a move is gonna pan out until we do it. If we don't make the move, people still complain. If we make the move, people complain. Like, you gotta be a Knicks fan. The move is made, you gotta agree with it and rock with it. If it works, it works. If it don't, then we retool. You understand what I'm saying? We have the assets to retool. It's not like a regime past where we give up multiple picks and so on and so forth, where we physically shoot ourselves in the foot and we don't have anything to do in the future. We still have assets. So we're not giving up any assets to go out and get Jalen Brunson, but money. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
no, I hear you.
It's a win-win to me.
I hear you. Yeah. Let me get the Cheesy Soul Cakes here. Cheesy, what's going on, man? Tell me your thoughts about Jalen Brunson and about Hartenstein.
I definitely think that Jalen Brunson's an upgrade from the point guards we had last year. That's like a no-brainer there. Like, he's an upgrade from Kemba. He's an upgrade from Alec Burke. And the money, if it's the 15th highest paid point guard, what do you think he was going to do? He was going to get it from somebody. He had a monster playoff. He had a great year. And Hartenstein, if he's going to be the backup center, that's a great move, right? Because I think we're going to re-sign Mitch is what the rumor is.
Yeah, the Knicks are going to re-sign Mitch, but let me ask you this. What happens with Sims? How do you think that works out with Jericho Sims?
He's going to lose the minutes, obviously, right? Unless there's injuries. Like last year, we saw he played a lot of more minutes than we assumed because Noel was out or Mitchell Robinson was out. So there's always going to be minutes for these young kids. Unless he's already in the package somewhere, because you got to see a move coming, right? We're not going to end with Brunson and the backup center, are we? Is that the whole summer?
It could be. I don't know. It could be.
Now with the KD thing, our names are going to be all over this. You know that. And anytime there's a big name in the trade, they're going to put us in the middle of that. So,
yeah, I mean, I would think that the Knicks would probably
call,
at least inquire.
Yeah, call.
You know what I mean? I would.
Yeah, of course.
You know me. I'm going to try to get him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think that he's coming to the New York Knicks.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think if he wants out of Brooklyn, why would he want to stay in New York?
Right.
That's the whole thing.
I don't think Brooklyn would trade him to the Knicks. I don't think he wants to be on the New York Knicks, to be honest with you. I think he wants to go to some place where it's going to be easy. I think he wants to go to some place where he's going to be able to win a championship. And that's not going to be with the New York Knicks.
I'd trade anybody besides RJ for him. I know I heard you say earlier that you trade RJ. I wouldn't trade RJ. I think RJ is going to be special.
Okay. I mean, I would have everybody on the table.
No, I heard you. I heard
everybody there. Whoever they want, I would have them on the table. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I understand. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I trade anybody but RJ. The rest, all the assets, give them up. Why are you collecting them? That's the type of player you want.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What would you want the Knicks to do?
As far as going forward from here?
Going forward, from here.
I don't know. As far as free agency, I don't see any other moves, but maybe a trade. I hear like Zach LaVine didn't sign the extension. What's up, Nate? I heard, there's possibilities that there might be one or two guys, Brogdon maybe. Well, what do you do with Brogdon with Brunson?
There's no reason for Brogdon with Brunson. Right. See, the reason why you could have had DeJounte Murray and Brunson together is they played two different kind of games, right? Brunson can be the guy to come up and just distribute the ball, this and that. Murray can score. He can facilitate a little bit. So I could see where you would say you can put them two guys together. I didn't think it was ideal. Right?
I thought that was all smoke and mirrors anyway.
You know what I'm saying? But I could see where someone could think that. My man T. Crow in the building was popping.
Tony Crow, what's up, fam?
What's good, fellas?
So I could see where someone would think that. Brogdon and Jalen Brunson, you're asking for the slowest team in history.
No, facts, yeah.
Right?
I'm just saying, like, there got to be something, unless we're going to stick with Fournier and, I don't know, what do we do with Julius Randle? What do we do with Obi? That's another decision.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Randle go somewhere where there's less pressure on him, too. Maybe Dallas, now that there'll be an opening in Dallas.
Can I just say, there's less pressure on him now here.
Right.
Oh, no, yeah, facts. Yeah, no, facts.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you like to see Obi take that little? I mean, like, I feel like, say you did trade Randle for some assets. I feel like Obi's ready. He's ready to take. I mean, he might not go to 26 points and 10 rebounds like Randle, but you already compensated some of that scoring with Brunson. RJ's going to have another year under his belt. He's going to want the ball a little more. I'm okay with putting Obi there and getting something for Randle. I just feel like the pressure's too much for Randle. Like,
but I think with Brunson now, I think that pressure is different. Brunson is now, once this deal is complete, Brunson is probably the highest paid player on the team now.
No, still Randle will be, right?
I don't think so.
No, he'll eclipse Randle. I think Randle's making 28 this year. No,
I think Randle makes 20. Well, it could be Randle. I think Randle was 4 years 117, maybe 4 years 117. So if his is 4 years 110, it might be because I think Brunson is 4 years, 110.
110. Okay.
Yeah. At least that's what Shams reported. So I mean,
is it official? It's not official yet, right?
I don't think anything is really official. It's all about what they intend to do. Okay. There's still probably a moratorium period, before everything gets done.
But they said 6 o'clock, right? That's like the official time.
That's the official time that free agency began. This is when teams can begin negotiating.
I miss you guys, by the way. It's been a real long time.
I appreciate you. Let me get over here to Nate. Get Nate's thought. Nate, what's popping, man?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, man. We can hear you.
Man, I had to change the AirPods. Okay. Man, it's been a minute. I was actually at the draft for my birthday. It was awesome.
Okay.
Was not happy about the results, but it was an awesome experience.
Well, the results led to the Knicks being able to do what they did today. So.
Well, we'll see about that.
I'm just saying.
I'm 50-50. Yeah. I get it. I mean, it was all about Brunson. That's the whole plan. It was all Brunson or bust for the offseason.
And who would you have drafted that would have played this year?
I like that guy Durant. That center. I really think we could have got him for cheaper and have to re-sign Mitch.
I mean,
that's just me. I mean, obviously I wanted Ivy, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. But once you missed on Ivy though, and you saw that there wasn't.
I still wanted Durant. I was high on Durant. I like his talent and I like his upside.
All right. Go ahead, because I want to give a couple of updates and do some super chats.
Yeah. So honestly, Sim, I mean, it's a wait and see approach. I mean, you look at the roster right now, we have a very young roster. We got rid of a lot of the vets. Pretty much the oldest players on the team are Evan and probably Randall now.
Taj is still on the team.
Oh, Taj. I thought
he's 30 or whatever. Derrick Rose is still on the team. He's in his 30s.
Okay. So
Evan Fournier is 29. Julius Randle's 27.
Yeah. So the 3 players. So the thing with Brunson is I think he's definitely an upgrade over the point guards we have for sure. 100%.
100%.
But how much more better does it make us?
A lot.
Like how many more wins does it increase us? That's my question.
I think it makes us a lot better because when you look at some of the close games that we lost last season, it came down to the Knicks not being able to execute. It really did. That's what it came down to. The Knicks could not execute. They needed somebody out there to man the ship, somebody to run it, someone to be the coach on the floor. They did not have that last year, especially with Derrick Rose being out. They didn't have that guy, and I believe Brunson could be that guy.
I hope you're right, man. I really do. I'm a little bit more cynical on the side that I think I need to see it more in as a whole, but I definitely, if I was going forward with moves, I like the Hartenstein move. I actually like that a lot because I think the guy can ball, and I think he actually played as a starter when Zubac was out and played well. He's a hustler. He's a grinder. I personally wouldn't bring Mitch back. I would definitely start him at center. And Jericho showed a lot of promise. Like he doesn't deserve to go back to the bench and not play at all. I thought he played really well in a lot of games when Mitch was out.
Yeah, but with that signing today, we kind of made that decision, that Sims is going to take a back seat. Why we signed this kid today?
I mean, probably, probably.
Maybe. I mean, it's more likely the idea.
Yeah.
And I would bring back Cam too. I want to give Cam another look. I don't think he got a fair shake because he got hurt.
Okay, let me
sure
read some things off. Free agent, according to Woj, free agent Daniel House has agreed to a 2-year, $8.5 million deal with the 76ers. Tyus Jones is returning to the Memphis Grizzlies on a 2-year, $30 million deal. Amir Coffey has agreed to a 3-year, $11 million deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. Damian Jones has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. Who else we got here? Chris Boucher. Is it Boucher or Boucher or whatever?
Boucher.
Is returning to the Raptors on a 3-year, $35 million deal. And so those are some updates from Woj. Let's see if I have any updates from Shams. And I know guys in the chat are keeping us updated on some things as well.
I saw in the chat a couple of times that we signed Brunson for 4 years, 104.
I don't think there's
an official one,
an
right?
official number yet. So, we'll I guess we'll figure that out, as we go. There can be, all kinds of different reports. Sham said it was 110. I didn't see where they said 104. But Javon Carter has agreed to a 2-year deal to return to Milwaukee. Wesley Matthews has agreed to a 1-year deal to return to the Milwaukee Bucks. Let me see. We talked about Daniel House. I think we pretty much got what we got here right now. We'll see what else comes down the pike. Let me get to my man Tony. I want to know, Tony, what you think about, what's going on with Hartenstein. I want to talk about Hartenstein. I know what you feel about Brunson. I want to talk about Hartenstein and how that impacts Mitch and how that impacts Sims.
Well, first off, let me start by saying we absolutely need to re-sign Mitch. The fact that we could go over the cap for him, and if we don't re-sign him, we're losing him for nothing. You could re-sign him, and then he becomes an asset if you don't want to keep him long term. Anyway, if he's locked up for 3-4 years, I think another team will be even more incentivized to go after him if they want him, and this team's interested. So whether it's a sign and trade or signing him, giving him another year under his belt, and then if you want to move on from him down the line, you can. So I think that's a no-brainer. Hartenstein, I've been hearing his name for a couple of days, and I like him. I think I think this is going to be the most complete roster we've seen in about 5-10 years, since 2013 at the very least. I'm talking about complete. We were missing a lead guard, and we were missing a stretch five, and we got those two things. Mm-hmm. So now if everything just kind of falls into place, and there's no outside noise or non-basketball issues, I think we're going to be a real good team.
Yeah, Hartenstein, Isaiah Hartenstein. He's played with Houston. He played with Houston in 2018 and 19 and 2020. He played with Toronto in 2021. He also played in Denver and Cleveland in 2021. And then last year he played with the Clippers. He played 68 games with the Clippers. Last season, he averaged 8.3 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, and 1.1 blocks per game. All right, he shot 46.7% from the three-point line. And he was 62.6% from the field. He is a career 38% three-point shooter. All right, now.
Low volume, but he has the ability.
But he has the ability to shoot.
14 for 30 last year, I think.
Yeah.
Which, obviously that's less than one per game, but he has that ability, and it changes the dynamic of our offense. Some things that we were able to do.
Right. So what does it do to Jericho Sims?
I think it puts him right back where he started last year. You know what I mean? Like insurance policy. If Mitch goes down, somebody who could step in. I think he's young enough and still green enough that he still has some things to work on and learn, but it's not going to hinder him. You know what I mean? I think the way he started the year, kind of waiting his turn, staying ready, practicing hard. So I don't think it really changes anything. And if anything, it may just incentivize him to work harder. But I think he was one of the bright spots as far as, a lot of people didn't call for him. Oh, we got to play Sims. But on the flip side, like when he got in, he produced and he played hard. Didn't try to play outside of his ability either.
Yeah. Okay. Big shout out to Black Shadow. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. All right. And then Payback Carter. He said, if we look back, Tibbs has had a good offense with small guards. Look back at his days in Chicago. I agree. He has. You still have to consider defensively how it looks, right? How it works. Jalen Brunson, 6 foot, 6'1", whatever it is. He is strong. That's one thing. He's very strong and he's a tough guy. I still think you know when you look at the team, they may need a little more defensively, and it might have been one of the reasons why they were considering DeJounte Murray so that they can have a defensive guard back there. You know, we all know about Evan Fournier. He's not exactly a defensive guard. RJ Barrett can play defense. Jalen Brunson can play defense, but he's kind of small, so he's not really switchable. Unless you're playing against a guy that doesn't score much, Jalen Brunson isn't going to be switchable. You know, so I wonder if the Knicks are going to try and find a guy that can fill that role as a switchable guard. Still, I mean, they have guys, you know, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, they can switch. Jalen Brunson's not switching off on anyone. He's going to stay right there on that point guard. So you might want a guy that's really a lockdown defender in that lineup, you know, given the fact that Jalen Brunson is really pigeonholed to one position, defending one position, unless you're playing against someone who really can't shoot. You know, Tony, what's your thoughts on that?
Well,
I'm
for
coming
me,
down to you, Cheesy.
For me, the biggest X factor in that particular scenario, what you're talking about, is Cam. If Cam could come in and beat out a Fournier for a starting role, now we're talking about switchability. Now we're talking about defense. You know what I mean? So I think it could be his turn to really step up, and that would be a goal for me if I'm him. Let me try to beat out Fournier, even if I have to do it on the defensive end. You know what I mean? Solidify that and just let my offensive come as it comes. But I think he would be the X factor if we're not looking outside to bring another guy in. Another person I would be interested in from the outside would maybe be Rubio, but my only problem with that is, now it's taken quickly off the ball completely back into the shooting guard role and kind of puts another glut in our situation of wings and guards.
Yeah.
But those are my two thoughts on what we could do to shore up that defense.
Okay, Cheesy, you getting ready to say something? You got to unmute yourself, my man.
Oh,
there you go.
So my question was for Tony Crow. Tony, so you're happy with these moves? No, we don't need to do anything else. You're content with what we've done so far, and that's it. Nothing else.
I'm content. Not saying Durant is available and has interest. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you get in a surefire superstar, top 10 guy in the league, you got to inquire about that. But where we are compared to where we were, and just looking at what we missed, like Sim said earlier, what we missed last year compared to what we're getting, I think this kind of makes us a complete team. There should not be any jokes about the assembly of this roster. You know what I mean? Like across the board, I think we have surefire starters. You know what I mean? Surefire role players. Now it's just really about if these guys could put it all together in a season, or is it going to take longer than that?
One little more tiny question to add to that. What about Grimy Grimes? Where do you see his role going? Like, that's a name that I haven't heard anybody, and I feel like he might be as talented as anybody we have on the roster out of the young guys.
I'm glad you actually said that, because I forgot about him, and he's also a candidate as far as beating out Fournier and being a defensive guy, solidifying that defense. So
because he really locked people down. He locked like when Tibbs finally gave him the minutes, he was our guy that we were putting on the other team's best player. Like Tibbs was trusting him. So I in my mind, I have to believe that Thibodeau has a role for this kid. Or that we're not going to leave him out of the mix, maybe even trade Evan Fournier. Like, if there's something out there available, and let Grimes come in. I mean, that's my take on it because, like I said, when we finally gave this kid some time, it seemed like Tibbs really liked him until he got hurt. Once he got hurt, obviously things changed.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes and where that goes. Let me ask you guys this, and anyone feel free to answer. Do you think the Knicks are going to sign Jalen Brunson? Because it really hasn't been announced. Okay. Shams, when he made the announcement, he said Jalen Brunson intends to sign with the Knicks for, $110 million for 4 years. We haven't received that notification yet to say that it's done. He's going to sign. So my wonder is, has he agreed in principle? But then maybe the Knicks and Dallas are going to work out a sign and trade. And if that's the case, I don't know if Dallas wants to do that. This could all be part of a bigger deal too, with what's going on in Brooklyn. And if Dallas has some intentions on bringing in Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant or getting some other pieces that may fall through the cracks or whatever, because you could imagine that this is going to be a large deal with Kevin Durant. And so maybe Dallas and New York will get a piece of that somehow, some way.
I believe that's what slowed everything down, and that's why you don't have announcements, because at 3 o'clock, you have an announcement saying Kevin Durant wants to be traded. So now maybe, say us even, right? We want to get in this mix. Maybe we're talking to Brunson's agent and saying, hey, we'll make this deal happen, but let's see if we could bring both of you and Durant. Maybe that's like, or get a piece in there, throw an asset here, get an asset in, and get whatever other piece you're really looking for. Because Leon Rose, what we've noticed in the 2 years that he is here, he's quiet. Like, you don't know what he's really doing until it's time. I know this Brunson thing has had a little noise because his dad is here and all that. But you never heard, Leon hasn't said nothing. He keeps his stuff ninja.
Yeah, right. So go ahead, Nate.
What's interesting is I actually think it could be a sign and trade. And I think that, it's a long shot, but I don't think it's going to happen. But, Dallas did like Mitch. They wanted Mitch. They made it very clear that they wanted to go after him when free agency started. Now, I don't know if getting Christian Wood kind of maybe changed that dynamic because maybe they put him at the 5.
Yeah, I think probably so. I think that probably changes the dynamic big time.
But yeah, I guess it just matters. Like, if it is a sign and trade, really, what is Dallas going to give us? Probably
no. If it's a sign and trade, they would give us Brunson, and then we would send back. They would sign Brunson, give us Brunson, and then we would send back. Whatever. Maybe Evan Fournier, like that. So that's that's the sign and trade.
It could
honestly,
also
go ahead, Tim.
They can get. We could absorb Brunson in the sign and trade. They get the trade exception, and that's what they use to get Kyrie over here or something.
I would love if we could. I would love if we could put Evan Fournier in that sign and trade, because the reality is, and kind of just going back to what you were asking before about the whole switching of the guards and defensive guards, the conundrum with the Knicks right now is the fact is that you have Evan Fournier, who's almost 30, and you have a lot of wings in waiting to decide if you're going to, what kind of potential they're going to have. And Evan's kind of holding them back in a sense because we already have a lot of glut there. So the idea is, I think at some point, RJ needs to be that third at that wing position, and you need to bring in a shooting guard that is defensive minded. And the one guy I will actually throw out there that I think the Knicks could get on the cheap, that actually could be a very good piece, is Lucas Dort from OKC.
I think he already signed. I think he signed with OKC.
He did?
Yeah.
They said he was trying to trade him.
Yeah, maybe there could be a sign and trade somewhere, but I think he signed with OKC.
I must have heard of that one.
Yeah.
But I just saw that yesterday. They were like trying to move from him. But I mean, if he was available, 22-year-old guy that could play defense, average 17 points a game.
You know, the Knicks picked up a Lou Dort in the draft, kind of. You know, so they'll probably give that. They'll probably give that guy. You know, Keels is similar to Lou Dort. They might try to give him a chance first. I don't know. But my thinking is this though. I'm thinking bigger than that. I'm sorry. You know, I'm trying to win, and I haven't heard anything about Zach LaVine yet.
Somebody said he re-signed for 205.
Yeah, he's going to resign for Chicago. He's going to resign for Chicago.
Did he resign already?
I'm going to look now, but that's what somebody said.
Okay.
They said that yesterday he was going to sign.
No, I read it in the chat like a minute or two ago.
Yeah.
But I'll double check it.
Well, that would take my whole thing away. But
yeah.
that would take away everything. But
Tim, we can't afford him. How do we get him?
Because if you do a sign and trade, see, listen. If the Dallas Mavericks want to get something back for Jalen Brunson, the Knicks have all the leverage because he intends to sign with the New York Knicks. They have all the leverage. So what that means is the Knicks, instead of signing Jalen Brunson into that $31 or $33 million they have, they do a sign and trade with the Dallas Mavericks. So now you're trading away players that you already have on your roster, which keeps that $33 million available so that you can go after a guy like a Zach or whoever that's out there. You see what I'm saying? That's how you make that work. And yes, Lou Dort has agreed to a 5-year, $87.5 million deal to stay with OKC.
Wow.
Nicholas Batum has agreed to a 2-year deal to return to the Los Angeles Clippers. Trevelin Queen has agreed to a deal with the Philadelphia 76ers.
So nothing on LaVine, so that was fake news.
I haven't seen anything on LaVine as of yet. Haven't seen anything.
He's supposed to re-sign with the Bulls. That's what everybody's saying.
You know, so we haven't seen anything.
Not official.
I assume that he's going to re-sign with the Bulls.
Oh, I have a quick question that we didn't really harp on, and this might be a possibility too, because we heard these rumblings earlier. What about Donovan Mitchell? Is he totally out of play now?
I mean, I don't think so, because you can always trade for him, but I don't think anything's
don't play
happening with
defense,
Donovan
then.
Mitchell right
I don't think they move. I don't think they move him this year with the All-Star game being there, unless they get in like a All-Star in return.
Yeah, they want RJ. They want RJ if you're going to trade Donovan.
No, what about Randall for him? You don't think that's an All-Star enough?
I don't think that's happening, and I think that I don't think Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell is a good pairing in the backcourt. I think it's too small.
That's why I was asking. But I know that he had dinner. He had dinner with Quickly, on Sunday?
Yeah.
They were out to dinner together. So I was wondering your thoughts on this. Don't forget, when we first got Latrell Sprewell, everybody's saying, how are you going to play Sprewell and Allie Houston in the same lineup?
Yeah, but they were 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah. No, I get it. No, I know.
You got a midget backcourt.
There's also rumors out there that Miami has submitted a trade offer for Donovan Mitchell. Yeah.
Miami's going to get somebody.
No,
KD or Spider.
Your thoughts, if you told me that we were trading and we were going to have a Brunson, Donovan Mitchell backcourt, I'd kind of be semi-excited because Donovan's explosive. I know we'll lose something on the height and maybe on the D, but he's a bona fide star in my mind.
He is. I just think we'd be so small.
Man, we could have got Oladipo.
Tony, let me ask you: Do you think that this is going to end up with Jalen Brunson? Is going to end up being a sign and trade scenario? Let me ask you that.
I believe it is, just because, like I said, even if it's not for players, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
We could just give them a trade exception, and this way now they're able to use that to kind of bring somebody. Like, they got to figure out what trade they're gonna make, but they could use that to absorb a contract with the trade exception, as opposed to taking on a Fournier if they're not interested, or whomever, you know what I mean, that is on the roster that they may not be interested. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a player. It could be a player. It could be a mixture of a player, and then the rest is a trade exception. because we have the ability to absorb them. So I do think they do go sign and trade route because they don't necessarily have to do it and take on salary. You know what I mean? So I think they ultimately do that. And us giving them the trade exception is just like signing him right out. So it doesn't affect us. Maybe we even get a second round pick or something else included because we're only helping them. You know what I mean? There's no benefit for us doing the sign and trade unless we're sending salary back, like you said, and now we could use that extra salary cap that we're saving.
We could also add salary and a couple of second round picks and make that work that way too. Where you would add, like, I don't know about Fournier, but somebody else you might want to get off the roster that has money. We don't have anybody left with money though, do we? We just got Randall.
Just Derrick Rose, and I don't see that happening.
No, that's not happening.
Unless it's a 3-team trade and Rose is going to destination of his choice.
Yeah.
I think Rose wants to play for Thibodeau, and I think Thibodeau wants Rose. Even if he's not playing, maybe assistant coach or something, but he wants him. Like, I don't see Rose going nowhere.
Let me get Delroy back in, and Cheesy, I'll bring you back in.
All right,
in a little bit. I want to get Delroy back in and see what he thinks about Hartenstein and see what he thinks about any other moves that the Knicks might be willing to make. Delroy, what's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts on the Hartenstein move? I don't know if you were here when they made the move or not, if you were already on with us when they made the move. What do you think about the Hartenstein move? And then what do you think about any other things that Knicks might be thinking of?
I think the Hartenstein move is a pretty good move. Regardless of what, we didn't need a stretch five. He can shoot the ball a little bit. I know it cuts back on Jericho Sims a little bit, but I don't think Jericho Sims is there yet to back up Mitch. So I think that's a pretty good tandem to have in the second unit. You know, just again, and he's not an elite rim protector, but he can do a little something. So that's a pretty good move.
Right.
And the money is nothing. It's $8 million a year. So that's easy to move as well.
Yeah, that's easy to move. And you never know how these contracts are going to pan out, you know what I mean, as far as the structure of them. It could be 1 year and then a team option for the next year or something like that, you know what I mean? What would you like to see the Knicks do next, or are you satisfied with the roster the way it is?
The thing is, it's just who we have to think logically. Who else is out there? You get what I'm saying? And to tell the truth, over the last couple of years, a lot of teams haven't been willing to work with the Knicks. You get what I'm saying? So I think Leon Rose has been working on building that reputation back, but I don't think a lot of teams have been willing to work with us. So the thing is, who else is out there? We have the assets, but who else do we go get? Beal is off the table. And I don't think we're there yet. I think we need to rock with what we have, see how stuff pan out. Yeah, I do want to get rid of Julius Randle, but what you going to get rid of him for? Who's going to get him? Evan Fournier, we still want to move off of that contract, but who's going to come knocking at the Knicks door? We're going to have to give up assets to get rid of those contracts. So unless it's something really, really enticing, I don't think that it's going to be easy to move off of those two contracts.
Okay. You know, I mean, my thing though, and you know, people are going to say, well, you love Julius Randle anyway, but I want to see how he looks with Jalen Brunson out there. I want to see what it looks like. You know what I mean? I want to see what it looks like. You know, the guy is a talented player. You know what I mean? He can do a lot of things on the court. Now let's see what it looks like for this team when he's not asked to be the primary facilitator.
Say what you want about Randall, man, but when he played with an actual point guard, and say what you want to say about Alfred Payton, but when he played with a point guard, you see what he could do. Now we can physically get a point guard to put next to him. He doesn't have to bring the ball up. He doesn't have to think as much, because that's the problem. Yeah. And I think that was a problem this year. We gave him the ball and we said, okay, think, do this, do that. If we have somebody to put him in his right spots, give him the ball and say, hey, just back him down and shoot. Step out there and shoot the three. Don't think about the game. Let it come to you. And once you have a point guard who can physically set that up for him, I think he'll flourish.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say Peyton got to the rim just as much as Brunson. He just couldn't. He
just
couldn't
didn't
Finish. Couldn't finish.
So you know, I think it's really gonna be reminiscent of that season, just with the stability of the team, and like I keep saying, this is a complete roster, even without any additional moves. But there are some other moves out there. I want to highlight a comment, Funky Goose World, and ask you guys, would you do it? Because I think I would. I think that would be a nice fit. Caruso for Derrick Rose, sending him back to Chicago, and getting a scrappy guy like Caruso. He's a bit undersized, but he's still known as a scrappy defender, a feisty defender, and he could put buckets on him, put up
Caruso's
buckets.
like 6'6".
Yeah, but still, what's Caruso's contract? What does it look like?
He got paid a lot last year.
I'm not sure, but I doubt it's a lot more than $14 million. That's what Rose gets, right?
No, I'm not saying that, but for Chicago, for Chicago's side, for Chicago to want to take back Derrick Rose, he's injury prone. You get what I'm saying? He didn't play half the game last year. So to get that, I think we still would have to attach an asset to entice.
I agree.
To entice that.
I agree.
I would do it because let him finish off his career where he started, and they love him there. And he gets standing ovations every time he goes to the game, plays against them.
We would have to incentivize it, but
yeah, definitely.
I just think Caruso's he could be a Tibbs guy. He seems like he would fit right in with Tibbs.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the Lakers are bad in defense because of Caruso was one of the big reasons. Like he's a good defender.
My only issue is that I'm trying to clear up some glut so that we have some clear, we have a clear 10 that we know, because that's all Tibbs is going. When he's going 10 deep, we have a clear 10. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to clear up glut. And so if you trade Rose for Caruso, you still got the same glut, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think you still, because now you got Emmanuel Quickly, you got Quentin Grimes, you got Alex Caruso, you got Cam Reddish, you got Obi Toppin, and then you have your back, Hartenstein, I guess, as the backup center. So I still think you got the same glut. I'm trying to clean up the glut. So if I were to trade Rose to Chicago or any place else, I'm at least trying to send out 2 people and bring back 1. 2 wings and bring back 1. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
or just get picks, dump them for stuff.
Like Delroy said, we're gonna have to incentivize it anyway. So maybe we move off of a second player as opposed to a pick. You know what I mean? I was thinking like 2 seconds, but you make perfect sense, and maybe one of the young guys has to go with it. But let me ask you this, Sim: as the roster stands now, including Brunson, including Hartenstein, we have the glut. Who do you think is the odd man out at this particular moment? Obviously, I feel like not Grimes. Deuce is he's in the back of the line.
Yeah.
So I guess out of Grimes, Cam, and it's probably Cam because he's been the guy that we've heard the least positive things about coming from Tibbs. You know what I mean? So do we move Cam?
Wasn't he a free agent?
Next year.
No, he's not a free agent.
And we can make it restricted. So how do we move Cam or do we move the guy who potentially has the most value? It may end up being Cam too, but you know what I mean? Or do we just try to move like a Grimes or Quickly? Or
I don't want to move Grimes, to be honest with you. I don't. I mean, if obviously if you're talking about getting a KD or something like that, then I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody, the entire team is on the table, including some Knicks fans. But I like Grimes' defense. I like that he can shoot the basketball. I think he can defend 3 positions. You know, I like Cam Reddish too. I think he's the most.
I'm sorry. Or do you move from Fournier, who is our best?
That's the
guy.
That's
shooter.
what I'm saying.
That's the guy that I try to move
Fournier.
on from.
Yeah.
I try to move on from Fournier if I can.
Do you do it in the same type of salary dump move? Maybe attaching picks to do it. Is it that important that we have to clear the glut and you're that sure that Fournier is the guy we gotta move to do it? You know what I'm saying? Or do you kind of let it play out, see who develops interest from other teams and kind of do it that way? Are you aggressive?
Me personally, I'm trying to move Fournier. I like Derrick Rose. He's my favorite player on the team, you know, for the last couple of years. But I'm looking at possibly those 2 guys
combined together.
Yeah,
2 for 1.
And 2 for 1. Moving those 2 guys and either for cap space to sign somebody, you know, if there's someone to sign that's worth that amount of money. Because I'm looking at $18 million and $14 million, that's $32 million. You know what I'm saying? And you move those 2 guys, you bring back one, hopefully it's a starter, right? And now your roster is clean. You know, when I mean clean, I mean like you have defined roles. There's no glut. You know, it's definitive. Kind of. You know what I mean? That's why on your show last night, on my way back, I was driving back from New York. I kept putting it in the chat. Trade Rose and Fournier for cap space and go after Zach. That's how I kept putting that in there. I kept putting that in there. You know what I mean? And it's probably not something that's going to be done. You know what I mean? And a very, very long shot. But I would do it anyway because even if it doesn't work, right? You still got your core in place. You still got enough money to sign, you know, a player that's out there that can fit what you want to do or absorb a contract. You know what I mean? You got $33 million. Absorb a contract or whatever it is.
That might be the move right there. Like, I'd put that package up for you know, trying to get KD, you know, add Cam to it and then as many picks as it takes because you know those 2 guys come. I mean, it depends on what's out there and what they could get. It depends on who, but I'm not just KD, not just Levine. I think that's a good enough package, you know, to with all the draft capital we have that we could kind of go after anybody with that because that's a lump sum of money for those 2 guys. Number one, yeah, I think that is a great idea, and they may just have to hold that until the player is available, the right player is available. My only question is, do they send Derrick Rose somewhere other than? That's why I said Brooklyn because he's still in New York, he's still close to home. Obviously, Chicago is home. I don't think he wants to go far away from home, and I think the Knicks will accommodate him. They're not going to send him like somewhere that is out of his
right. Oh yeah,
range.
Yeah, they'll treat him right.
Hey Sim, I got a question.
Hold on 1 second, Nate. Dave Capel, thank you for the super chat. He said, if you move Fournier, where's your shooting? Well, I think you get shooting. You got Hartenstein now who can shoot the ball a little bit. I don't know what his, you know, how many attempts he's going to get, but he can shoot the ball a little bit. Quentin Grimes can shoot the ball from 3. None of these guys, I think, have as quick of a trigger as Fournier, but Quentin Grimes can shoot it. I think Cam can shoot it from 3.
Quickly.
Right? Quickly can shoot it from 3. And you still got the money if you're able to have a team absorb those 2 contracts and you don't get back, you know, a big name guy. You got the money to find a way to bring in a shooter, a guy that can shoot the rock, like really, really shoot the ball. You know what I mean? So I think you still will have a shooter there and a way to get a shooter in. And also shout out to Black Shadow for the super chat that Black Shadow dropped earlier. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Neat.
So I got a question. So, you know, you're talking about a team taking on 2 big contracts. Would you consider attaching one of the Thunder picks along with it to entice it? Because sometimes when you have a big contract, you gotta dangle the carrot, and unfortunately, the draft picks are usually.
If it's Levine, Durant, any of these guys that are already superstars or on their way, I'm talking 4 or 5 picks. If we got to, we have them. we have them to use.
I mean, if you talk about KD, I'm moving mountains.
Yeah,
I'm moving mountains.
But moves have to be made in order to clear up this situation. Yeah. I don't think you can go into the season with all the same players and it's like rearranging chairs on a ship. So we're assuming Mitch is going to be re-signed, but we haven't heard anything about it.
Well, the reason why, I did read a couple of times that I think it's going to be like 4 years, $60 million, somewhere around there. But the reason why you're not hearing anything about it right now is because Mitch isn't going to be signed until the Knicks are done making their moves, because you can go over the cap to sign Mitch, right? So that's going to be the last thing that's done.
Mm-hmm. So they do it. They do it now. Then they cap strap.
Right. Then they're strapped. So you won't have to worry about hearing anything about Mitchell Robinson right now. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. David Capel, again, thank you for the super chat. He was saying if we move Fournier, we would only have Grimes, and that we need more moves. I agree. The Knicks are going to need more moves. But if they go into the season with this team, as currently constructed, Jalen Brunson, Isaiah Hartenstein, and the rest of the crew that the Knicks are bringing back, there's that glut there, right? But you also can say you can almost guarantee Derrick Rose is going to sit some time out, right? So, whoever's not playing is going to play. Who knows? Maybe Tom Thibodeau figures, I'll cut Derrick Rose's minutes down to 15 minutes a game, and I'll give the rest of those minutes to Cam or something like that. That way you save Derrick Rose, so he doesn't have as much wear and tear on his body. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say, but at least you don't have as much of a glut as the Knicks have had recently. It's a little bit less of a glut there, and some guys might just have to battle but they got to battle for that playing time.
I think you got to see a healthy Cam this year in order to finally make a decision if you see him as part of the future or if not. Like I said, I don't think he got a fair shake last year, and then he got hurt. So there's got to be a way like that he gets minutes, and I like Grimes too. I really do. The thing is, Evan's the one that holds up everything, because if you can move Evan, RJ either slides to the 3 or 2, and then you put Grimes or Cam in that starting spot, and things are a lot more cleaner, But if Evan's not,
you don't just put them in. They got it. And it could be a reason that the Knicks aren't just, clearing it away, because you don't just put them there. They got to show that they can go there and perform. I think Grimes has shown it, but he could still be up and down. Cam, don't know. So they got it. The players got to go out there and perform in that spot, not just be in that spot.
Well, but even so, you can slide RJ to the 3. You already know he's going to be a starter. And then you can put Grimes into the starting lineup at the 2. Tibbs already loves Grimes, loves his defense. You mentioned that, he's a guy that can defend some of the better players. I mean, he's kind of a plug-and-play player in a sense, and then you can bring Cam off the bench. But, like, Evan's holding up everything. Like, I don't think he fits the timeline for the Knicks right now. I don't even know why we signed him last year. I'm still confused about that one.
I'm not that as down as everybody else is on Evan. To me, I don't think he's a starter, but I think Evan is a necessary guy. You bring him off the bench. He's a necessary guy, regardless of what the money. If you can move him, you move him. But what are you going to get for him? Who's going to take him? But I don't think he is that bad of a player where we got to say, oh, we got to get rid of him like right now for a bag of chips. You get what I'm saying? He has the necessary skill set that the team actually needs.
I
He
agree
can
with
shoot.
that.
He's just a liability on defense. You got to pair him with somebody.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like, unfortunately, as much as I feel like Cam is the X factor, I feel like he's also the guy that will be traded first, just because he barely made it into Tibbs inner circle. You know what I mean? Grimes came in and carved his niche quickly. We seen when most of us was down on Quickly early in the year, talking about his shot he lost his shot. Tibbs still rocked with him. Let him rock through the whole season. He's gave him minutes down the stretch when he wasn't shooting well. Like, that shows a lot coming from Tibbs. Quickly's he's in that inner circle. So I feel like Cam is the only one that hasn't reached that and solidified his spot there. So it's gonna be hard for him to get there, I guess.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough because there's it's gonna be tough because of the guys that's out there. But Nate, you're saying that Evan Fournier is holding some people up. I feel like this though, like I want to clean up the glut, not because I want to make room for this specific player, just because it makes the team operating easier, the chemistry better, and those type of things.
Rotation's cleaner.
But I feel like this. If Evan Fournier is holding Cam Reddish or Quentin Grimes from becoming the player that they're supposed to become, then that's a problem in and of itself, because it should be like, this guy's ready to take his starting role. This guy is good enough to take it from him. You know what I'm saying? If you got to sit and say, well, the only reason Cam Reddish ain't a star is because Evan Fournier is there, then that's not true, in my opinion.
Can I add to that real quick? Because that's exactly what I've been saying, all last season about Randall and Obi. You know what I mean? Like, it's about self-confidence. It's not about the guy in front of you. It's about producing when you get that opportunity, and then everything will fall into place. Can't worry about making a mistake, because that's your own mental. You know what I mean? That has nothing to do with the coach or the guy playing ahead of you. And the same goes with Cam. He has to beat out. He has to carve his niche, and then make the coach.
But here's the thing too. Here's the thing too that y'all have to understand is that we also have a coach that plays his players 40 minutes a game, and there's only so many minutes in a game. So regardless if he's working at it and trying to get in that starting role, I mean, Tibbs is a guy who's very stubborn and will play his players he wants to play, regardless whether they're helping the team or hurting the team. And so
you have to make him. You have to make him want to play you.
Yeah, there you go.
We've seen it done. We've seen what Grimes did.
Right.
Grimes got a small opportunity and capitalized off of it.
And I think that narrative is old. That narrative where Tibbs plays his guys, I think that is old, because regardless of how you look at it, we live in an environment right now where everybody has a mentality that they have to get something or you have to give them something. If you're on my team, if you're a player and you don't have that mentality that you need to go out there and earn it, because you could be drafted number one and still come off the bench. You have to earn your starting spot. You're not just going to come in a situation that's already built and expect to play 30 minutes a game. If that's your mentality, then you need to sit on a bench. That's just the way I look at it. You need to earn your spot. Cam Reddish came in the middle of the year. He didn't gel with the team as of yet. So the minutes he got is the minutes that he deserved to get. You get what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that he got injured when he was just getting his motor going, but we can't help that. You get what I'm saying? Like, to me, Tibbs is going to play the players that he feels is going to give him the best opportunity to win. He's a winning coach. I don't care what people saying, oh, he likes this player, he likes this player. If you're going to go out there and not going to give him winning basketball, he's going to sit you on a bench. So I think everybody needs to earn their spot.
I agree. Let me jump in here really quick, because we have a little bit of a hiccup, I think. Okay, according to Woj, free agent guard Jalen Brunson, armed with a 5-year, $106 million plus Mavericks offer, is headed into a meeting with the New York Knicks within the hour.
Sign and trade.
Say it again.
I'll say it again. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, free agent guard Jalen Brunson, who is armed with an offer from the Dallas Mavericks for $106 million plus, is headed into a meeting with the New York Knicks within the hour.
So he wants more. He's gonna use.
So I mean, basically, Shams reported that he intended to sign with the Knicks for $110 million. Right? The New York Post reported that he was signing for about $104 million. Now Jalen Brunson, or now Woj, is reporting that the Mavericks have offered $106 million plus and is headed into a meeting with the New York Knicks. So it sounds like maybe the Knicks offered a contract for about $104 million. The Mavericks were not going to offer it. Maybe the Mavericks are trying to run up the price or something like that, and now make the Knicks have to come back and say, well, we'll give you 110.
Oof.
I don't know. I don't know. But
it could be the sign and trade.
It's crazy because I was wondering why we seen Shams reported, but we didn't see Woj reported. Normally, one of the two has it first, and then a few minutes later, the other one reports it. This is interesting. Stay tuned. This is interesting right here because the New York Post reported that the Mavs were only offering like 5 years, $85 million. 4 years, $85 million. No, hold up. It says, this was the New York Post, and they're quoting ESPN. ESPN reported in the days leading up to free agency that Dallas was only willing to offer Brunson a 5-year deal in the ballpark of $85 million, I'm assuming. Or in the ballpark, in the ballpark of the 4-year, $85 million that the Raptors offer Fred VanVleet. So, but they were willing to go 5 years, so somewhere around that ballpark. So I guess that probably makes it about $106 million deal that they were willing to offer him. And the Knicks,
it was $22 million a year.
Yeah, and the Knicks are doing that same 104, 105, 106 for 4 years, which means he gets that much more money per year. You know what I'm saying? But this is interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting.
This could be the start of the sign and trade talks.
Right.
You know what I mean? This also, I don't think this hampers the Knicks much, just because we're talking about 4 years, compared to 5 years with this new offer from Dallas, a couple $1 million more on the 5th year. That obviously the tax money comes into play with New York and Dallas, but offering a 5th year in the sign and trade, I think that'll equal that money out if we could work out the sign and trade. But increasing that money, in a 4-year deal, I mean, I think we still have it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, but I think what makes it interesting is that it's been reported that it was a done deal.
Right.
Right.
And that he didn't talk to Dallas either at all.
Right. Shams reported it, and then the New York Post reported it, and then now it's coming out that,
it's like Tom Brady retirement.
I would think it's the sign and trade. I would think it's him saying, listen, they're willing to give me the 5th year. What kind of sign and trade can we work out? You know what I mean? So I get the 5th year.
Well, but see, my thing is, I don't think he would do. He's not going to do the 5-year 106.
It'll be more. It'll be more in New York.
Right. He's not going to sign with Dallas for 5 years 106, and then trade that to the Knicks.
No, it would be a renegotiation with New York for the 5th year. So now he could go back to Dallas
But he can't
say,
get a 5th year in New York. He can't get a 5th year in New York.
Yeah,
he can in a sign and trade.
Right, in a sign and trade. But what I'm saying, if he can sign with the Knicks for outright for 4 years, 104, or 4 years, 105, or something like that, instead of signing 5 years, 106 with Dallas, you're going to get more with the Knicks with 4 years, 104 than 5 years, 106.
Yeah, you're getting about 26, 27 with the 4 years and about 21.2 with the 5th.
Right.
All right. So I understand that, but because of the difference in the taxes, right? Maybe that 5th year in Dallas ends up being more than the 4 years in New York. So now he has to come back to New York and figure out what'll equal out to that same money if he does the 5th year in the sign and trade. So obviously,
but Dallas would have to agree
to that sign and trade.
Dallas would have to agree to doing 5 years, $120 something million, and then to do that sign and trade, they got to take back.
Not necessarily, because if it's the same amount if it's the same 27 per year, that is just a 5th year now, and they doing a sign and trade. We have the money to sign them outright for that money, so they get a trade exception. So they don't have to take salary back. They can get a full trade exception.
Can they do? Can they do that if they're over the cap?
I believe so.
Because there's a lot, when you're over the cap, it restricts a lot of things that you can do when you're over the cap. You know what I'm saying?
Don't they?
I believe they will get it. They can do it just for this trade exception. They don't necessarily have to take salary back because we can absorb that amount of money. It could be a sign and trade. They get no players back. They only get a trade exception, and this is why they don't lose out. Now they can use that money. They can't use it to sign somebody right out, but they could use it to trade for somebody at $27 million.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. They can do it. They don't have to take salary back because we have the money to pay that. You understand? If we didn't have the money, if we had $20 million, and then we were trying to sign him for 27, we would have to at least send $7 million back in salary, and then they would get a $20 million trade exception. But because we could cover that whole 27, they can get a $27 million trade exception and use that within the year to trade for somebody and pretty much absorb it.
Right. I think if they were going to do a sign and trade, the Mavs would have been in contact with New York and so on and so forth. I don't think they're doing a sign and trade, to tell the truth. It's a long shot because to do a sign and trade, I don't think so. I just think it's something else. I don't think so.
So he's meeting with the Knicks.
So why lose him for nothing?
I'm sorry?
Why lose him for nothing?
Yo, Mark Cuban is a head case. He's been said it. He's not willing to do a sign and trade. You get what I'm saying? Said that.
I think that it was for verbally, just trying to.
I mean,
at that time we didn't have the money to sign him either.
Yeah, so. I mean, the reason why I think that they were losing for nothing is because they're already $50 million over the cap.
Yeah, he's already paying a lot of luxury tax.
I don't know if they're willing. They
also
was
almost in the NBA Finals, and now you talk about losing your second best player on the team. It's one thing if he was the 5th guy, the 4th guy. You know what I mean? This is the second best player on your team. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you feel like you could lose the second best player, and a couple other guys is going to step up and kind of.
Yeah,
I think Christian Wood.
I think they might be looking at that and looking at Spencer Dinwiddie and saying Spencer Dinwiddie could step up. You got Tim Hardaway Jr. who's going to be coming
Christian
back.
Wood.
You know what I mean? So Spencer Dinwiddie can run that point guard role while you got Tim Hardaway Jr. who can be at the shooting guard spot. They might be looking at something like that and say, hey, we think we can get along with doing this here.
Right.
The one thing I don't know, if they do get a trade exception, I don't know if that counts as salary. You know what I mean? Without it being a player.
I don't think it counts against your cap space until you sign a player into it.
Until you
then there's no reason not to take that exception. You know what I mean? Because that's just something that you have in your back pocket.
So is there?
As opposed to losing him for nothing, as opposed to losing him and having a trade exception.
Yeah, that's what Boston did last year with Evan Fournier. So that's why they have that $17 million exemption now that they can use.
So is there any thought that Brunson might renege on our deal and go back to Dallas?
I don't think so. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Some of it might even just be semantics, right? To avoid any kind of
tampering.
The teams working together to avoid any tampering charges. I mean, if it wasn't supposed to open until 6:00 and everybody knows that he's already signing with the Knicks, obviously there were discussions going on well beforehand, right?
Weird.
So that might be the teams working together to say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do it the right way to make sure that we avoid any tampering charges. The Dallas and New York working together to do that.
As the world turns, we'll see what happens.
So
don't be surprised if he get that 5th year for in the sign and trade. Do not be surprised.
I mean, but Dallas would have to agree to do it. You know what I mean? And it's possible. You know what I mean? That he could. Get that 5th year. Either way, he's still getting the same amount of money. He would have, he would have that guaranteed 5th year. So I guess we'll see where it goes and how it happens from there.
So if we do a sign and trade with them, do we choose the player we send to them, or do they choose?
Well, it depends on how it's done. Like if Tony, was saying that they could, just bring in a trade exception, then no players would go to them. Now there were some rumors earlier today that they would have some interest in Evan Fournier.
That'd be great.
Right. So.
And then in that sense, now we're saving $17 million that we could use somewhere else.
And they took Hardaway the last time, so let's do it.
Right, that you can use someplace else. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
I would take Evan because they need shooters around Luka.
Yeah, supposedly they have some guys that can shoot around them, and Tim Hardaway and those guys, but you can always use more. Right, Margaret Edwards said the deal is done. I'm just going by what Woj said. You know what I mean? And I think it took everybody by a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, if Woj don't drop it, it's not real or shams, I guess.
So I guess we'll find out within the hour, and Woj will probably tweet it out within an hour that he's officially going to be. Signing with the New York Knicks. Where does the team, Tony? Where with the team as currently constructed? Where do you have them? If nothing else happens, where do you have them in the East?
Man, I mean, to be honest, if Randall head is on straight and he's focused on basketball and engaged, I think I won't say 4th seed, but I think we're back in that 6 to 10 range. You know what I mean? Like for sure. And I might even say 6 to 8, so still playing possibility, but still a shot to miss the play-in or not have to worry about the play-in and have that 6 seed. That's if Randall can. He don't have to be 24-10. You know what I mean? But no antics. Just focus on basketball and playing his game. He's a beast on there when he's focused. So
yeah. Okay. Nate, where do you have the Knicks in the East?
Honestly, I have them in the play-in. I think that I'm worried about the defense. I mean, the two guys we've got are not known as great defenders, and we had problems on defense last year, and so I'm really worried about the defense now. So I have him in the plan. I think I think we might make the 7th or 8th seed, but it's gonna be tough, man. The Eastern Conference is so much better now.
Well, if they make the 7th or 8th seed, that's going to be the play-in, and then they have to win that game.
Yeah, So I say play. Yes, play-in. I'll say play-in.
Yeah,
I am in the play-in.
Okay. All right. Delroy, where do you have the Knicks? If they stay as currently constructed, where do you have the Knicks?
I'll say about the same thing. I have them in the play-in. Yeah, I have them in the play-in because you got to think about it. The Hawks got better. The Bulls is going to get better. Lonzo Ball is going to be back. We just got to worry about the Nets, what are they going to do with KD and Kyrie and so on and so forth. But I say about there, the play-in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they'll probably be around that play-in area, and then they'll have a chance to get into the playoffs. I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to have a winning record, but the East is deep. But I do think they're going to have a winning record as long as everybody stays healthy and, all that kind of stuff. The two guys that they added, okay, Jalen Brunson, I don't know, semi-big name, I guess. Isaiah Hartenstein, not really a big name, but a good fit, right? And I think that's one thing that some people may overlook is the fit of the players that are being added to this basketball team. You know what I'm saying? And that fit can take you a long way, right? Because now you got a center, your offense. When you a guy like Hartenstein out there who can do a little bit more as far as shooting the basketball, it's gonna open your offense a little bit more, open it up a little bit more. You know what I mean? And his ability to help spread the floor, open up lanes for Jalen Brunson, open up lanes for R.J. Barrett, because there'll be times when he plays with the starting unit. I'm not saying starting over Mitch or anything like that, but there'll be times when Mitch goes out maybe a little bit early and Hartenstein comes in, or they just mix up the lineups. You know what I mean? So, but it's going to open up lanes for R.J. Barrett, for Randall, for Jalen Brunson, for IQ. For those guys to get to the basket. So I think that's going to be a good fit for the Knicks. Remember last year, Taj Gibson in his minutes, he was able to do some of those things in opening up the floor for those guys, but Taj was only going to be able to play so many minutes. You know what I mean? So now Hartenstein, can hopefully come in and play some really good minutes. Let Taj go ahead and be there at the end of the bench. And then, let it go how it goes. But I think that it's just there's more balance. I think there's more balance to these lineups. You know what I mean?
Hey Sam, I wanna amend a comment I made yesterday on my show because I know people keep receipts. So I wanna say I was one of the people that said that we are overpaying for Brunson, but I'm gonna amend it in this sense because I think we're overpaying for his production, his numbers, right? But I'll say this: what he brings in leadership, that's worth all that extra money. You know what I mean? So I still don't think we're overpaying for him because that leadership, that's something you don't see in the stat sheets. You know what I mean? And that's something we sorely missed. And I can't even more than missed because I don't know if we really had it. Derrick Rose was a leader by example, more so than anything. Brunson will be a leader by example, but he's also going to be verbal and vocal, and be able to. I don't want to say put people in their place. I'll say put people in their position, and I think that's going to make a world of difference. And then with Hartenstein and Mitch coming back, don't be surprised if both of those guys get a lot better throughout the course of the season, Mitch and Hartenstein, because now they both have a different guy that they're going to be working out against head to head, practicing day in and day out. So it's going to expand their defense and offense. You know what I mean? Mitch is going to have to be gardening a little bit on the perimeter in practice more than he's ever done before. He's had those situations from game to game, but who was he practicing against that had him out on out defending the 3-point line like that? Or who was he defending against that had the abilities that Hartenstein has, and then vice versa? Hartenstein's gonna have to figure out a way to how to defend against Mitch in practice, and guard against the lobs, and guard against those putbacks, and everything Mitch is good at. So I think it's gonna expand both of their games, because they're both getting a guy that they could practice against that they didn't really have on their other team or the previous years.
Right. No doubt about it, and it should definitely help. We haven't heard anything about Zach LaVine at all. Do you think Chicago is trying to figure out what's going on with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and I'm not talking about them adding Kyrie Irving, maybe Kevin Durant, and Zach LaVine is obviously in those conversations? Because you would have thought that by now you heard something about Zach LaVine. Because my thought is that he was going back to Chicago. Easy peasy. I thought that it was going to be, bam, it's a done deal. He's signed with Chicago, re-signed with Chicago, and it's done.
Have the Spurs done anything? And who were the other teams that had the cap space that they could just go out and sign LaVine if they, if they agreed?
I'm not sure.
I know I heard about the Spurs having interest early, before the free agency started, and I haven't heard about any moves they made thus far.
Right.
Other than the trade.
I think
yesterday.
Lonnie Walker is no longer with the Spurs. He's signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. So they let Lonnie Walker go. I think the Spurs are breaking down to the very last compound. They let go of DeJounte Murray, which was just surprising to me. So I think they're breaking it down and trying to figure out how to build up.
Well, DeJounte Murray wasn't going to re-sign with them.
He wasn't a free agent this year.
Do you think them not taking Collins was a mistake? Like, I think they should have took Collins, even if they didn't plan, like, maybe they didn't think he was a fit or whatever, chemistry issues or whatever the case. I think they could have flipped him and gotten more later rather than taking on Gallinari. And I think they could have did the same deal with Collins.
I don't think Atlanta's giving up that much pick with Collins.
Okay.
And the thing to me, what I see the Spurs doing, I see the Spurs looking at next year's draft because of the draft capital they got and the guys that's coming in next year. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
they don't want to take on salary either. They don't want to take on, because John Collins just got paid. They don't want to take his salary on.
Yeah, but he's
movable.
He's movable. And you'll get. I think that I just hate that I feel like Atlanta has the ability to make another huge move to kind of put them over the top.
They have a lot of young assets, man, that a lot of people covet. Hunter,
they're definitely going to make another move.
Herder. They've got a lot of moves they could definitely make.
Yeah. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Even though Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting that Jalen Brunson is going to meet with the Knicks within the hour, and he has a 5-year, $106 million deal from the Dallas Mavericks, it seems as though it's kind of a done deal that he's going to be a New York Knick. Jalen Brunson. The New York Knicks have also signed Isaiah Hartenstein to a 2-year, $16 million deal. And right now, I feel like some things are going to be on hold for a little while, and until we figure out what's going on with KD. Tim McMahon. Well, this was a while ago, so it's just funny. Everyone reported that the Dallas Mavericks weren't even going to have a meeting with Brunson. But I'm assuming this is all for tampering stuff. Yeah, all for tampering stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to head off because at 8 o'clock, the NBA report is coming on. And then, I'll probably come on a little bit later after the NBA report and talk about whatever has transpired since then. Now, if something really, really pops off, something crazy pops off that involves the New York Knicks, then I'll come back on. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, then I'll come back on and we'll talk about that. News. You know what I'm saying? But right now, the Knicks got their top 2 targets, I guess, in free agency, and we'll see if they're working on anything else. You know what I mean? So I do want to I'll get a chance for you guys to, give any last comments, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Tony?
I just wanted to say appreciate the event, man. It was another successful one.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Excited for next year with all the additions we've been talking about. And yeah, man, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Yo, Black, it's time.
Yeah, no doubt. Nate?
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, things look good so far. I mean, I got to see what other moves they're going to make before I can really get a better feeling about how this roster is going to look like when it goes into the season. I'm optimistic, so we'll see.
Hey, we'll see. And Delroy?
I'm optimistic, man. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm going to rock with whatever they do. We just got to get Brunson locked up and just keep it moving.
Yeah, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm going to jump off so the NBA report can come on at 8 o'clock. Please make sure you check those guys out. They'll be having updates. And then I'll jump on a little bit later after that, to talk about whatever else transpired and to wrap up the day. And then I'll be on tomorrow as well, as I'm pretty sure there's going to be more transactions on tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Be peaceful. And, yeah, I'll talk to you soon. We out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.